welcome to one more game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. I'm your host, Matt Brainenberger, alongside my beautiful wife, Abigail. Hi, Abby.
Hi. Happy Father's Day.
It is Father's Day.
You're a wonderful father to our 7 daughters.
7? We're counting the dogs.
We are.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It is Father's Day. This is a weird routine because it's apart from our normal routine where we usually record sometime midweek in an evening where the kids are in bed. But this, we say it every week, so it's like cliche and it's kind of stupid, but life is so busy. We didn't even have time to record this week. We had a couple times where we tried and then we were just too tired. We're kept putting it off. And so now it's Sunday. This comes out. So this is the most relevant podcast that we've ever done. It comes out tomorrow. It comes out tomorrow, which means I still have to do my part and you have to do your part. So
we'll be quick.
Yeah. But it is Father's Day.
Yeah. You're a great father. I'm
blessed in many ways. And one of them is with my 5 daughters. I'm not counting the dogs.
They're
more yours than they're mine.
Right. But they puke, they throw up, they poop, they do their messy things.
And in our last episode, they did some other stuff too.
Right.
Was that our last one?
Yeah.
I think that was our last episode. It's been a while. So life has been crazy.
Yeah.
Real estate is really kind of picking up
for you,
fun. Which is good. You've had your first couple showings, and
I've had lots of showings.
And doing some listings hopefully coming up. So we are not sponsored by, but we might as well be sponsored by Abby Brainenberger Real Estate, part of Wheeland Real Estate. So if you need a house in the greater Fort Wayne area, please.
In the state of Indiana.
She'll drive.
I will drive
She will come to you anywhere in the Hoosier state. That's been good. It's been just a weird week. Friday was my last day in my job that I've had for 10 years, kind of transitioning to a different role in our district this next year. Got other stuff going on as well. So work was just kind of emotional. I don't know if I didn't get real emotional about
nostalgic
it. But I'm a very nostalgic person. So it was just kind of a change for sure. Thinking through this week. So that happened this week. We've been doing lots of lessons, clinics. This coming week, starting tomorrow, we have kind of our biggest kids clinic where we have around 40 kids that'll be taking part. We do it through the school that our girls go to, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're really excited about it, but that makes for a very busy, crazy week. So that's the next 3 days.
Yeah, well. I just have had multiple people ask me for lessons this week, and I cannot fit them in.
Right.
And we're talking morning till night.
Right.
All week.
Yeah.
It's all right.
And then all the girls' sports, I was just kind of listing them.
We've got girls in soccer.
We've got tennis.
5 girls in tennis.
Actually starting some tennis lessons today. Swim, dive, volleyball, PSM, which is like performance.
Sports performance
things. So.
And we're not even over schedulers, but somehow we did this.
We say that, but then we put it all out there and it kind of sounds like we are. But we're really not. I would agree with you.
I don't thrive in chaos.
This is each of our girls. We kind of try to limit what they're doing. We don't have them playing multiple sports. They kind of pick one and pursue that. So right now that's really what they're doing. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. All right, so today's episode probably will be fairly quick because, again, we got to get to tennis lessons. We've got all kinds of other stuff we're doing. It is Father's Day. We're celebrating that tonight. Going to watch the U.S. Open, have some barbecue. Pretty excited about that.
Big day.
So, big day. But today's episode, we're going to talk about 2 topics, and they alliterate, so I don't know if they really go together, but it's body language and burnout.
Well, they are related because I could tell by your body language today that you are burnt out.
In general, in life,
in life,
I just need a good nap. I need a good night's sleep. What I do.
You do.
I took a nap before this episode.
It's never a good nap when the kids are around, though.
And I got woken up once by them tickling my feet. Another time,
I did not know that.
By them telling me that they were folding the towels. Emmy was excited that she was helping.
Good for them.
But I didn't need to be woken up from my nap. So I feel like I It was one of those naps where
it's like an angry nap.
Yeah, I kind of woke up grumpier. Right. And when I take naps, here's a fun fact for you. When I take naps, I'm usually on my back, opposed to when I take, because I'm on the couch.
Sleep.
When I'm asleep, I'm a side sleeper. But when I sleep on my back, like almost every time I wake up in a panic because I'm like get my head or neck in a position where I can't breathe, and I think I have to get out. It's
interesting fact. I didn't know that.
So I woke up scared and grumpy. So I'll try not to be too grumpy on this.
I know this. I saw your face. You were offended by me walking in the room.
When I woke up, or
when I came downstairs.
Well, maybe that was right after I had thought I was going to die.
You were eating nachos.
Oh. Even those didn't make me happy. And it's Father's Day.
Such a hard day.
Been such a rough day. All right. So let's talk first about the topic of body language.
Yeah.
So what...
Can we and maybe we can we put in Ursula, from Little
Never
Mermaid,
underestimate
the importance of body language.
Keep going.
No.
Okay.
I'm done.
I've heard you really, sing that song before.
Right. I can sing the entire Little Mermaid.
Yeah, not getting into the... Okay.
So don't underestimate the importance of body language.
Okay, good. Let's not.
On multiple levels.
Okay, so start off, let's talk about, first of all, reading the opponent. So if you are looking at your opponent from your standpoint across the court, what are we looking for in body language?
I am looking for, I guess I'm looking to see where the ball's about to go, so I'm looking at their paddle. Okay. And I will teach even my beginners to start training themselves to look at their opponent's paddles, because that's, for the most part, going to tell you where the ball's going to go so that you can anticipate meeting the ball there instead of trying to react after they hit the ball.
Right. It's a subtle thing, but it can be really helpful to really watch the angle of their paddle to see where they're going to go. Yeah. Now, the one thing that will get you sometimes is somebody who hits a good inside out, where it looks like they're going to go one way and they just leave the face of it open and the ball goes the opposite way. And
that'll get me.
Yeah, that'll get you every time. Yeah. Not every time. But also with that, part of reading the opponent is knowing your opponent, right? So when you play against somebody, and we could name several of our friends that have really good inside outs, you kind of you can know to expect that. And so you may even fake one way and then know that they're going to hit that inside out and be able to react accordingly to that.
That's just hard if you're playing in a tournament and you're playing somebody you've never played before and they have a wicked inside out and you're like, okay, I got to figure that out. But still, for the most part, watching your opponent's paddle is going to give you a lot of insight into what's about to happen.
Yep. So we're talking about paddle angle. We're also talking about where the paddle is, high or low, right? We've talked about that in previous episodes. When that paddle is up, you're going to expect the ball down. So you're almost kind of mirroring or not mirroring and kind of doing the opposite of
seesaw,
what you see. Yeah, the seesaw.
The teeter-totter.
Teeter-totter. Yeah, when you see their paddle up, you're going to be down and ready. And if you see theirs down, then you have your paddle up and are ready with it. And that's kind of the next thing I had down was tracking with your paddle. So I feel like when I don't always, this is one of those things where I don't always consciously think about watching my opponent's paddle as much as I should. I think I do it naturally, but I don't focus on it like I should. And when I do, I'm really tracking their paddle with mine. So I'm almost kind of following where they're going, maybe kind of doing that teeter-totter thing, but kind of moving along with theirs. So if I see their paddle go down, then I am moving it up, kind of getting ready for my forehand to be able to smack that ball down if it comes up for a put away position.
Yeah, and so as I'm processing this, I'm thinking if I'm on the right side and you are in a firefight, and I'm tracking along with this, my paddle's probably more towards my backhand, because if I'm expecting a ball my direction, it's probably going to go to my backhand. Now it may not, and that's just a great shot, and I can still kind of get over there, but I'm anticipating the ball high percentage.
And that's a great point too, that be ready if you're not the one involved in the firefight, still be tracking the paddle and be ready if that ball does come off to you.
I've even noticed when I'm watching you play, I'm moving my paddle almost in response to where I think the ball's going to go, and I don't even have the ball coming my way. And I'm like doing this.
I think that in retrospect, I think that's kind of what happened this morning when we were playing. and my partner accused me of like giving up on the play, said my paddle was down. And you said that my paddle was down. And she was engaged in a firefight, and the ball came to me, and I wasn't ready, and I missed what should have been a pretty easy put away. But I wasn't paddle up ready, tracking it, ready to pounce on it when it came.
Right.
I thought this was interesting. We read something that Dane Gingrich said about what to do during a firefight. You want to share what that was?
Yes.
Do you remember?
That was to watch the ball leaving your opponent's paddle.
Yeah.
Tracking the paddle.
Yep.
But you're not going to watch the ball the entire time.
Right. It's kind of like more of watching your opponent and letting your reaction time, like you're going to react to it. You don't have to keep your eye on the ball the entire time. You're going to more react to your opponent and where they're moving and where the ball's coming off the paddle of your opponent opposed to trying to just keep your eye on the ball. It's the old cliche.
Yeah.
But that's not really what we want to do in pickleball is like watch the ball the entire time.
I don't think you can. It's too quick of a game.
Yep, for sure. Another thing that I wanted to throw in here kind of along with this in terms of reading your opponent and kind of a body language thing, kind of just a game situation. We had this discussion after we were playing today, and I think it is a good thing. So let me set up the situation by saying we were at the line, my opponent and I, and you and your partner, I said opponent, my partner and I were at the line, and you and your partner were back. I hit a nice drop shot that your partner had a heck of a run to come up and get it. And as he came up and got it, he did kind of a flying, swinging shot and hit a great shot just barely over the net. Now, I have, not that I always do this, but I try to train myself. If I see somebody doing that and I know I've hit a good shot and they're coming, the other opponent is coming in strong, I'm playing dodgeball basically. I'm trying to get out of the way of that ball because I'm saying that ball, even if they get to it and they hit a hard shot, there's no way they're going to be able to get to it, hit a hard shot, and have the ball drop in our court. Now, maybe 1 out of 25 times it does. I'll applaud them at that point.
If they get enough top spin on it.
If they get enough top spin on it.
Yeah.
But if they are coming up hard, that's part of reading your opponent, kind of knowing the situation and knowing that a ball hit from low to high at close range when somebody is out of control, essentially, they're running as fast as they can coming in, is probably going to go out.
Yeah.
And I'll let that ball go every time, and the one out of whatever, how many times that goes in, applaud him and move on. But I think that's kind of a good tip. That was something that we hadn't really talked about before, and I thought would be a good thing to bring up.
Yeah, and I was going to say, too, I think next level, and my problem is I'm not a super thinker on the court. We both know that.
We both do know that, which causes some issues at times because I'm an overthinker on the court. Right.
Why do you have to think so much?
Just play and have fun.
Just hit the ball.
Right.
And so next level is going to be watching your opponent's feet and hips.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I do that, but I wonder if I do.
Yeah.
Because there are times that I've anticipated it going one direction and it didn't go there, and it was almost like a mishit. And I've even reflected, why did I think it was going in one direction, but then it didn't?
Yeah.
And so I wonder if I am tracking something there, but then I just forget about it. I'm like, I'm moving on.
That's a good point. And, I think next time we have Ryan Kearns on the show, we should talk to him about that because I know he's talked about that before. And that might be kind of a tennis thing. I think you probably read feet and hips a lot more in tennis because they're bigger swings and there's a lot more going on.
There's more court. You can see the more,
Yeah. So, but that's something I don't really pay attention to. Maybe subconsciously.
But I wonder, I was just going to say, I wonder if there's still some subconscious level because we have both played sports. We both understand you square up to the basket when you shoot basketball.
Right.
I mean, when you shoot a ball, you're squared up, right? Unless it's a crap shot.
Yeah. You should be. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I wonder if we have some innate sense, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I should see next time I play.
All right, let's transition this discussion then to, we kind of talked about reading your opponent. Now let's talk about what you can do. So how can you disguise what you're doing or try to maybe show your opponent one thing? We talked about the inside out can be one way to kind of disguise what you're doing. But especially if we want to do a speed up or a lob, when we're in the dinking game? What are we thinking about? What are we looking to do?
Both of those should have the same compact motion as a dink.
Yep.
So your dink should have a compact motion, meaning, this is more of a hip forward sport. Like your paddle should be in front of your hips, right? Mm-hmm. So your dink should be the exact same as the motion of a lob. You hit it further
harder
up
and higher
instead of, but you're not taking a big swing.
Right. At least you shouldn't be. I like to use the analogy of a baseball pitcher. A great pitcher is going to have the same arm motion, same arm angle, whether or not they're throwing a curve, a fastball, slider, or a changeup. They don't want to give it away. And when they do, when they start to have a tell, batters will pick up on that. The entire team will pick up on it, and they'll start just crushing that pitcher. And the same with your opponents. If you are giving away, and I've been guilty of this, when I'm going to speed it up, a lot of times I'll take a step back and my windup gets big and everybody knows it's coming. Now I can still be successful with that sometimes, but it takes away the element of surprise, right? You're telling them basically, I'm going to bring this one hard coming at you.
Yeah, and as pickleball gets, especially at the pro level, I'm sure they do it now, but they're going to be watching video of each other and they're going to look for tells.
Absolutely.
And so, I know we're all amateurs, but, it's just still worth thinking about as that trickles down into the amateur.
Yeah, but that's a good even drill that you can do. And we've done that before where we're just kind of dinking back and forth with each other and just every once in a while trying to pop one real quick and getting used to that motion of not changing anything, but try to, feel what that motion is of your normal dink and then try to do the same thing. And then at the last second when you go to hit it, just pop it a little harder.
Right, and that's even a good strategy in terms of that little wrist flick. Then you don't even have to get the ball in. Maybe that ball was going out, but if you flick it quick enough, just right at your opponent, they're just going to either react by smacking it or you're going to body bag them.
It's either going to hit their body or it's going to be close enough to their body that they're going to react to it and hit the ball.
Right.
That happens quite a bit as well.
You just can't get out of the way fast enough on those shots. And
Absolutely.
so hey, that's your point.
Yeah. And we talk about that in the dink game is usually where this is coming from, right? Because you're not going to surprise somebody by acting like you're going to hit a third shot drop and then firing a.
Right.
That's not really going to help. So this is more in the dink game, and it's those lobs, getting it high and over your opponent, or the speed up, which is going to be more on their body or close to them. The right hip is kind of a good place, or the right hip for a right-handed person is kind of where you want to aim for. And what that will do is it's kind of handcuffs them where that's a hard spot for a right-handed player to get is on their right hip. For a left-handed player, it'd be the left hip then. So good thoughts on that.
Yeah.
All right, so body language, maybe when we first said that, you were thinking we were going to talk more about like attitude. Like when I say body language, you kind of think attitude or like how you're communicating with your body. We kind of took it a little different direction.
But let's talk about body language.
Language.
Haven't you played with somebody who slumps their shoulders and rolls their eyes? And you didn't have great body language today.
My body, I told you. I appreciate the grace you had on me because it was Father's Day. And I wasn't real proud of myself this morning. I was frustrated from the beginning. My body language.
Like, when your partner said, "Did you give up?" Because it really did look like you give up.
Yeah.
Whether you did or not, your knees were not bent.
Which I totally did.
And your paddle was not up. Yeah. Whether or not that was on purpose.
No.
That's what looked to me.
That's what was communicated to my partner.
And you did that to me earlier this morning when you were with me. You were just standing straight up with your paddle down, and I was kind of like, well, how... I didn't mean to hit a bad shot for you to just put your arms down.
No, those two things were kind of mutually exclusive. I was frustrated, but I would never give up. I was... I think that's a bad habit that I have sometimes of being too nonchalant, standing at the kitchen line.
Too casual.
And just letting balls body bag me. But in terms of body language, it's important for your partner for you to stay positive. And I think we've talked about that before. So slumping shoulders or even just walking away from your partner. I think, in fact, this is, I read a post about this on Facebook and I totally agree with this. I thought with you
this morning. Or no, I was watching an old video of us from last week.
Oh, okay.
And I would have thought I was positive. I feel like I say, like, great shot, or, good put away, or whatever.
Yeah.
But my body language, I didn't tap your paddle very much.
Really?
And I thought,
yeah,
that was interesting. I didn't.
Yeah.
So I feel like I could probably do a better job of, like, either.
Well, thank you for not just beating up on me.
Clapping.
Some self-reflection. I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Like, I feel like, should I, like, hit paddles more? Or, like, clap on my part. I don't know.
Right.
I just didn't look like I was telling you good job, but I don't know that my body reflected it. So this random Facebook, I actually think it was Dane Gingrich, said something like, you should reconnect with your partner
after every
single point. Even if it's just eye contact and good job, or eye contact, we got the next one, or something like that.
I like that.
I do too.
That is true, because a lot can be read into it if that doesn't happen. Like, you may. And I'm sure, with the example you just used, I'm sure there were many of those points you weren't upset at anything, but I could have perceived it as that. And then maybe that causes me to kind of get into a little bit of a slump, because that is why it's important to stay positive with your partner. Nobody really thrives on negative criticism, like trying to motivate your partner on the pickleball court by acting angry at them, or like that you're disappointed in them.
Right.
Very few people. There might be some people that are motivated positively by that, but that's not what you want to do.
Maybe by a coach, but not your partner.
Right.
So that's my goal over the next couple weeks, is I'm going to be, like, super positive body language.
Okay. Like, to an annoying degree?
Yeah.
Like, yay! Like cheerleaders. Man, I don't know if I want to see that. It sounds kind of exhausting and a little weird.
But I want to be that person.
Yeah.
Who,
That's
like,
good. Be positive.
Yeah.
It's better to be a positive person. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
And on the opposite side of things, when you see your opponents kind of either chirping at each other or frustration,
I get a lot of delight out of that.
You do? Yeah.
I do.
That might be sinful, but it's okay.
Like, they're mad at each other.
Yeah.
We got them right where we want them.
Right where we want them. So that actually, it does nobody good. It doesn't do your partner good, and it doesn't do your opponents good. It actually does them good, so it's going to hurt you. So it really is important. Body language is important.
So we can wrap it up with reconnect positively with your partner after every point, or, very consistently throughout your entire game.
I like them. Okay. I'm going to do better too. Here's to positive body language. All right. We will take a quick break, and then we will be back to talk about, what are we talking about? Burnout. Okay. Let's do it. We'll be right back.
Parents, your teen driver or soon-to-be driver looks to you for guidance on safe driving techniques.
Drive Alive is an organization dedicated to young driver safety. Visit our website at drivealiveindiana.org to view videos designed to facilitate conversations between parents and their teen drivers.
Topics include getting to know your vehicle, understanding car insurance, simple car maintenance, and what to do if you just had an accident.
Visit drivealiveindiana.org to learn more. All right, welcome back to one more game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. So the topic of burnout, that's what we're going to talk about to end this episode. So let me start with this question. How much is too much play? Because we have some friends that literally play every single day, and some 2 times a day.
Right. And so there's always this question on Facebook about whatever, how much do you play, or I have pickleball elbow, or blah, 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 I don't know, and all these things. And I'll read, so many people are like, I play 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like, thousands of people say that.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind. Because I cannot do that. Like, my body cannot handle. Now, maybe I move more
That's what I was going to say.
Average Sheila. That sounded like a grandma name. I don't know. I'm sorry to all the Sheilas. All of our Sheilas out there. That is a beautiful name. You may or may not be a grandma. But you probably are. Okay. I'm sorry. Are we going to edit that out? No, we're not. We're keeping it in there. Okay. We're going to keep it real. Okay. Anyways, granted, I probably am working. I move a lot. I'm a mover. You're killing Sheila right now. Okay. So Sheila is a grandma who does not move very well. Okay. So I cannot play as much as Sheila does. Okay. She plays 5 days a week, 2-3 hours a day.
Yeah, and I was
4
gonna,
hours.
I was going to say that I was not going to name any names, and I was not going to name even any ages or anything, but I would agree that your average person who is playing a couple hours a week, 5 days a week, is probably more of your casual pickleball player that's just out there hitting the ball back and forth, in which case is not much different than, going on a couple hour walk, right?
I think so.
So
I think that's true.
It's fair to say that you and I, being the
and
highly
all of our
competitive,
friends, us and all of our friends.
right? When we play for 2 hours straight, I'm going through a couple shirts,
right?
At least, and,
right.
Yeah.
Our friends are squeezing out their headbands, and it's a waterfall out of their headbands.
Right. So.
So, anyways, all of that to say, I don't know that there has been too many times that I have played more than 3 days in a row. That's really.
Yeah, I heard you say that this morning.
You're going to disagree with me, but
I
I'm
don't know.
telling you, I will take a day off. I'll play again, but I will.
You'll space it out
I do
a little
think
bit.
a couple weeks ago I played 4 times in 5 days, and I was like, I had to take like 4 or 5 days off.
Right.
So I am not one of those people that plays
Yeah. I would
too
agree.
much in a row.
Yeah, I would
also,
agree.
I become a disaster.
Yeah, and I guess that's why I asked that question, because I kind of feel like that's where I'm at right now.
You need a day off.
I need a day off. And I was hoping actually to take today off because you could not find a fourth, and so you asked me to play for the amount of time that we had.
Yeah.
And I was kind of ready. It's been a few days in a row that
And you're
I
playing
have played,
tomorrow.
and I'm playing tomorrow. I won't even talk about the
Yeah.
couple days after that.
But my theory is the more days you play in a row, the worse you get until you take a day off.
Absolutely. Yeah. So so you're saying I'm going to be a disaster tomorrow then too?
I think you'll rally.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, and
But you need a day off.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
and I think more than a day off too is I need a mindset shift.
That's
as
what
well.
it is.
Yeah.
Like pickleball is
Yeah.
90% mental,
Yeah.
80, I don't know.
But tomorrow I'm playing with 3 other guys, and it's going to be like pretty competitive and intense game.
Yeah,
So
so you're gonna have to
I'm
bring
going to really have to like change my mindset to make sure. So I did write down some things that I would say are important to think about, to have
Okay.
that good mindset. So
Yeah.
tell me if you agree with these.
Okay.
Tell me if there's any that you would add. So first and foremost, have fun. Pickleball is a game designed to have fun.
Did you have fun this morning?
I did.
Did you?
But I always do. I mean,
Okay,
I look
I'm
back
glad.
on it. I'm glad that I did it,
Okay.
even though maybe I maybe have some regrets. I wish I would have been more engaged and would have had fun at the time. But I don't think, man, I wish I wouldn't have gotten out of bed and
Yeah.
I still had fun. I still played pickleball. I just wish my attitude would have been better.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I
So-
feel like the grumpier you got, the more positive I tried to be, and then I thought, am I overdoing
Yeah.
this?
And to be fair, this was kind of an anomaly, right?
It was.
I have
Oh my
not.
goodness.
I mean, I typically
Yes.
am not a grump on the
You're
court.
not.
I was just kind of got.
Listen, we got that. We have those days.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
So one thing is like your mindset should be to have fun first
Yep.
and foremost.
Yep.
It should be to get better, right?
Yep.
You are there to get better. You do
Yeah.
want to improve as a pickleball player, but don't lose fact of number one. Still going to keep saying it is have fun.
And be with your friends.
Yep. And be with your
And
friends.
we were with friends this
Because the other things that I have down are get exercise.
Yep.
We're there to have good exercise. You're outdoors in the
was a
summertime.
beautiful
It was
morning.
perfect morning. It's like 60 degrees,
Yeah.
sunny. It was a perfect morning. So don't lose sight of the fact of why you're out there is to have fun, get exercise, all those. Yeah, you want to get better, but change your mindset.
But
Yes.
nobody's perfect. And you know
Nobody's
what?
perfect.
It's okay to have a day of like, you know what?
Thank you for your grace and your forgiveness.
It's totally fine.
Because it's Father's Day, right?
Well, but I also had a grumpy day last week, and I was like, why do I play this game? I need a day off.
Yeah.
So,
And it stinks when
it's
you're in
okay.
the middle of it and you can recognize
Right.
that. But it's not like,
But it's like
especially
you-
this morning. If we would have had like 10 people there, I might have just been like, you know what, I'm going to go home.
Exactly.
It was 4 of us, and I'm
Right. You
like,
can't go home.
These people got out of bed
Right.
this morning. I'm not going
Right.
to just end it.
Yeah,
So,
it
anyways.
happens to everybody though. Everybody who's listening to this is like, I've had those days. I
Had
know
those
exactly
days.
what you're talking
Even my
about.
partner this morning, she said, I had one of these days yesterday.
Yep.
And she came out and she was playing great. So
Yep.
maybe there's hope for me tomorrow.
You're gonna do great.
Yeah. And then I'll take a day off
Yeah.
sometime later this week. Well, it is Father's Day. You can hear some of our kids around, so we're going to wrap this episode up. But as we always do, we're going to end it with what we love.
Yeah, I'm going to go super, super superficial and lighthearted. I'm going to say, brought to you by Diet Coke.
She's looking for a sponsor.
I'm now sponsored by Diet Coke.
Are you?
Meaning I buy the Diet Coke and then I drink it.
During the podcast.
This is how I'm staying sane this summer.
Okay.
Probably not the healthiest way.
All right.
But I don't care.
I love it. I'll go with something a little more deep, and I will say Father's Day.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful. I have the most wonderful wife, and I wouldn't be a father without you. Literally. Impossible. And so I'm thankful for you first and foremost, and then also for our 5 beautiful girls. This life is crazy, and it has gotten insanely busy. But I love every minute of it.
We do.
And I need
really do.
I need to embrace it. Sometimes I do get that even burnout in life, and I just need to embrace every minute of it. The time with the girls. I think I'm going to go out and bump around the volleyball with them right now. One of them had wanted to do that.
Tennis.
We got a few minutes.
Okay.
So, all right. So we will call it an episode there. Thank you again, as always, for joining us. We did kind of tease last time that we might have something special coming up. That's been postponed a week, and it might get postponed another week, but more info to come on that very soon. Yeah. So we're excited about that too. All right. Have a great day. We will see you next time on One More Game. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, Hoosier Pickleball, Indiana Physical Therapy, and Pickleball Rocks. In addition, a big thank you to our production company, Coraggio Media, and the 95.7 WELT studio in beautiful downtown Fort Wayne. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, or find us on YouTube at One More Game Pod. That's the number 1 More Game Pod. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating to help us spread the word. You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok at Hoosier Pickleball for all kinds of fun, tips, tricks, and other family nonsense, and also some great discussion. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.